Andrew Wasson from CreativeGuitarStudio.com. In this lesson, I'm going to show you a 21-day guitar lick and solo practice routine that will get you writing licks and playing solos on guitar 10 times better, all within the span of 1 month. Let's get started. Day one is all about key signature organizing. So you want to decide upon a key and learn everything about that key. So key signature organizing, the objective behind it is to select that key, learn the notes as well as the chords which are found within the key. For this lesson, we're going to be studying the key of A minor. Day two is all about scale organizing. We're going to organize the A minor scale in both high register and low register. So let's do that right now. All right, let's go over the high register scale that I have for you. It starts on 5th string, 12th fret A. So we have that one note on 12th fret, 5th string. We have 3 notes on 4th string, 9, 10, 12. Same frets on 3rd string, 9, 10, 12. Then we move over to the 2nd string, we got 10, 12, 13, and then on the 1st string, we got 10, 12, 13 once again. So you just learn that pattern, move across it and back. And you got your high register scale. Now let's look at the low register scale. Here we're going to start off the 5th fret A on the 6th string, and the scale layout goes like this. So how it's all set up is we have that one note on 6th string, 5th fret, and then on the 5th string we've got frets 2, 3, and 5. Same frets again on the 4th string, 2, 3, and 5. On the 3rd string we got 2, 4, and 5, and then when we get to 2nd string we got 3, 5, and 6, and on 1st string we just have 3 and 5. So you just want to memorize that shape and get it down. You'll have your low register together. Guys, I just wanted to quickly let you know, if you need some diagram paper or if you need to understand the key signature wheel or any of that stuff, definitely go and check out my handouts collection ebook. You can get yourself a copy with a small donation made over at CreativeGuitarStudio.com/donations. Make the donation through PayPal, and then within a couple of hours, I will be sending you the email with the link to download your copy of the handouts collection ebook. Day three is all about getting together a jam track. So what you want to do is compose a backing track that you can jam the scale over. Concentrate on creating your backing track so that it has nice chords that flow well in the key and everything's based off of the harmony. Of course, we're in the key here of A minor, so I put together a jam track for you to try out. And if you become a Patreon member of mine, there's going to be a bonus video for this lesson, and on Patreon, I'm going to play some solos for you demonstrating how to use those scales over top of this jam track. But right now, let me teach this jam track to you. All right, let me play the jam track for you so you know what it sounds like. It goes like this. All right, so what's happening with this jam track is we've got basically some triads that are going on in A minor on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. The first triad is frets 7, 5, and 5. You're hitting an open A underneath that. One more open A hit takes us to a bar chord in 5th position. And then we're going to go and do an F major chord with the frets of 7, 5, and 6. And then jump down into the 3rd position to get frets 5, 4, and 3 with a small G major chord there. And then we're going to go and start again. But this time, we're going to shoot down to the 2nd position and get a small D minor chord with the frets of 3, 2, 3. Then, to end it all off, I'm going to get a small E minor chord from 2nd fret, 4th string, and hitting a couple of open strings underneath that. And that's all there is to it. It's a fun, simple little jam track that you can learn, and it's all in the key of A minor. Day 4 is all about starting to organize your first licks. You know, you need some of these initial starter licks to become the first elements of your lines. So start with those first lead guitar ideas. I always recommend starting in the higher region of the neck, and what I've done for you to get you started is composed a phrase. So let's learn this phrase I have for you right now. All right, so here's the high register lick. It sounds like this. One more time. All right, so what's happening there is I'm on second string. I'm bending the 12th fret up a half step, and then again, bringing it down, getting a 10th fret on second string into a 10th fret a third, and then I'll have a melody that just comes off of the third string going 9th fret, and then on the 4th string, 12, 10, and slide back to 12. And that's it. Day 5 is all about review, and we're going to get into reviewing the scales and the licks that you've been working on. So just review, what you came up with on days 1 through 4, and just try to expand on those ideas a little bit. Learn to integrate the old with the new, maybe do a little bit of recording. But overall, that day 5 is really just going to be spent on reviewing your scales and some of the licks that you've started so far. Day 6 is going to be moving into licks in the low register. If you'll recall, day 4 was starting your licks up in the high register. Now we're moving down into the low register. So with low register licks, it's kind of the same idea we had from the high. Explore creating new ideas located off the scale, situated in the lower fret region of the neck. To give you a bit of an idea of what you could possibly do, I have created a phrase for you, so let's learn that phrase right now. All right, so now let's check out the low register lick. It goes like this. Again. All that's happening there is we're starting on the A root, and that's second fret, third string. Playing it twice, getting a D coming up on third fret, second string, back to the A again. Do a grace note slide real quick into the 5th fret from the 3rd fret, hitting it twice, and then back to that 3rd fret again with the finishing of everything coming off of the 5th fret into the 4th fret of 3rd string. Just sort of pointing into the B note there on the 3rd string. And that's it. It's a very simple lick, but it covers the chords nicely. Day 7 is getting into another review. You want to do another review of your scales and your licks. And this time, really the objective is review what you've come up with on days 4 to 6. And I think it's important to expand on those ideas, learn to integrate the old with the new, and maybe do a little bit of recording as well. On day 8, what I would like you to do is notate some of the ideas you've been working on. So if you have some tab paper, that's great. If you have my handouts collection ebook, it has some pages of tab that you can print out. But the objective with this is to just start notating your soloing ideas, either in notation, that's just tablature, or maybe in a program. If you use Guitar Pro or Finale or something, you could use that. But keep it simple, really, and just get some of it written down and have a documentation of what you've been up to. Day 9 is all about forming a larger direction, getting a greater perspective on what's happening with your development of your solo. Now, this is really just a creativity exercise and helping you understand to form a collection of ideas, both in your mind and then what you've written down so far on paper, and start forming that direction with your soloing perspective. How will this solo sound when it's done? What will be the contour of it? And really try to get a couple of things recorded in this day as well, and think of this as kind of an idea day, giving you a little bit broader perspective of where this solo is headed. Day 10 is going to be a little bit of a shift in gears, because what we're going to do is a technical review of the scales and licks. And what that means is we're going to pursue some greater speed and try to gain a little more control. So this is really all about technical skill. And the objective here is to really go back, review the scale patterns again, explore more technical direction with your licks and lines, focus on, the start, middle, and end sections of your guitar solo, and try to explore more technical direction from your licks as well. So that means work at expanding upon the lines with more phrasing devices like slides, bends, hammer-ons, pull-offs, that kind of stuff. And of course, as you develop a few extra ideas, record what you've been developing. Day 11 is more about the scale and lick phrasing. Now, if you haven't heard that term before, phrasing means making it musical, mainly through rhythm aspects. How do your licks feel and sound and have a rhythmic groove to them when you play them? You got to think to yourself, what is my musical assessment of the way each lick builds through the solo, and what is my feel like? How well does my phrasing connect across the chords? So phrasing is that smooth development of one musical idea over to the next. And by now, it's day 11, you have licks, you have phrases, you have a scope of where this is going in two regions of the neck. So start trying to get that phrasing element together. Start trying to make those musical ideas flow. Day 12 is the work on expanding fretboard coverage. Now, neck coverage is something that's really important. You want to spend time working out how you could play more along and across instead of so vertical as many people will do when they first learn scales. They play very in position. But the fretboard is lateral. So explore ways of using, one guitar string or two guitar strings and play scale lines that, maybe jump from one position to another position and vice versa. Can be a really cool way to introduce amazing sounds in your solos. Day 13 is going to be another review, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's a rhythm review of scales and licks. So what you want to do is return to the scale patterns again, study some new rhythm durations. Rhythm and feel is really the objective here. Explore new rhythms when you perform the scale shapes. Maybe try doing, eighth notes moving to sixteenths, or maybe work on triplet feel. Maybe add some syncopated elements. That means where things feel a little off time with the phrasing of the lines. This type of work goes a long way to creating very unique sounding guitar solos. Once you get to day 14, what we're doing here is expanding the scale line. So you want to study notation from day 8, modify scale lines, understand how to review the notation work that was done and do something a little bit different. That was on day 8 when we did the notation stuff. How might, those older lines that you maybe started with become expanded to form fresh ideas? Are there any changes to those lines that you can do to maybe have them become more musical? Try and test out different ideas. Try and be a little creative here. Try and test rhythms, have them become a little bit expanded so the feel and the phrasing becomes more interesting. So it's kind of another creative day here on day 14, but the goal, of course, is to expand those scale lines a little bit here and there and make them sound maybe a little bit more interesting. Day 15 is all about connecting the licks. So connecting ideas for really the most memorable sounding lines. So when you bring together licks and learning the most musical ways of starting into a solo with individual lines, you want to really focus on determining how those licks will be used in each solo section. So as you're developing through that phrasing and you're getting more and more ideas, practice ways of blending the licks together so that they start to feel as smooth as possible. Day 16 is all about guitar solo form. Now that means the solo structure, forming the guitar solo from all the licks and the different directions that you've been at it so far. So what you want to do is focus on practicing all the licks from the last 15 days, organize the licks, have them be well-formed musical lines, have them function efficiently as, one unified guitar solo, and the feel of it from start to finish really starts beginning to feel like it has a form to it. If you do this work well and you keep this at the forefront of your mind that you want that form to be smooth from start to finish, you're going to wind up with a fantastic guitar solo. Day 17 is going to be unique because it's going to be about timing and memorization. A lot of times people really are into their solo, they do memorize it, and it seems to be fairly smooth and things are going okay, but there's something about the timing that's just a little bit off, and you'll want to turn on a metronome or a drum machine and really begin working out the general feel of the solo, but do it to the beat in time. And if you want to just keep it simple, have a metronome on and focus on that timing. Where you strike notes is going to make all the difference in the world to how that guitar solo sounds to the listener. Day 18 is going to be back to the backing track. And what you want to do is play the guitar solo that you've come up with and listen for balance across that backing track. What works, what doesn't work, where you're landing on notes, and where is the timing of how you're landing on those notes. Play that solo against the backing track, and it'll be very beneficial to helping you understand and explore what notes work, where they work at the best times, and what phrasing will be the best to connect in the best way possible, and what needs to become maybe tightened up in certain areas, maybe what needs to happen with respect to the feel and the overall timing of really every segment of the beat in time. If you do this with the backing track going on in the background, it's going to make a big difference into the feel and how the overall phrasing and how everything happens with the solo in the end. If you do this work right, your guitar solo is going to just come out excellent for you. On day 19, what you want to do is reshape the guitar solo that you've been working on. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, you want to establish a workaround for any section of the solo that needs maybe a little bit of repair. Focus on balance, focus on smoothness. The objective, is once the areas of weakness are discovered, target and polish those areas up. There will be more opportunity presenting itself for the development of a greater sense of balance at this point in time. And along with that, you're going to have an enhanced sense of smoothness to the solo as well. So this reshaping day is kind of like going back and checking around all the edges and just making sure that everything sounds really smooth, and the focus, again, like I had mentioned, is on balance and smoothness. Well, day 20 is really about the beginning of recording your guitar solo. You want to start laying down the guitar solo in a multi-track session. Think of the session as being the work that's starting the recording of the solo against the backing track. And you want to practice during this time of having good feel and smooth playing, be in a good headspace, try not to take anything too seriously, stay relaxed, and in the end, you're going to start getting some really nice recordings together. Day 21 is here. That's the day we complete and we share the recording that we made. It's really the finishing of everything on day 21. You're going to play the solo for a few friends after everything's all polished up, and really perfect the final playthrough of all your parts and lay down the completed solo project on this day. Go back in and maybe double check the tracks that you've created, and once you're in this mode, be sure to share what you're doing with a few friends who are musical. Make sure that the audience, though, that you share your work with are indeed people who are also musically skilled. You want those first people who listen to your work to offer you some constructive criticism. And if you play it for people who aren't really musicians, sometimes they say some really stupid things, and you wind up feeling maybe self-conscious about if you did the right kind of thing when you recorded. So share your work with competent, musically skilled people, and you will get the best feedback. Well, guys, if you want to go and join and become one of my $15 a month Patreon members, you're going to get a second part 2 video of me performing a solo over the jam track. I'm just going to basically riff out and improvise and give you an idea on what I'd play over that jam track. Plus, you're also going to get a detailed handout with everything I talked about listed, all those days listed, 1 through 21. And also, you're going to get an MP3 of the jam track so you can play along to it as well. So head down to my Patreon page and become a $15 a month member today at patreon.com/Creative Guitar Studio. Also, if you found this video helpful, make sure you leave your comments and give it a thumbs up. Also, remember, if you're looking for a step-by-step guitar program that puts real tested methods into a proven guitar course, it's all available over at creativeguitarstudio.com. Plus, you're going to want to make sure you're seeing all my guitar lessons here on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe to this channel. And I do have a main channel on YouTube as well. Just type in youtube.com/user/Creative Guitar Studio. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now. When it comes to online guitar lessons, there's no place better than CreativeGuitarStudio.com. General membership to the site is always free, and paid memberships to access our step-by-step beginner, intermediate, and advanced guitar programs are offered in reasonable monthly and annual packages. Skype lessons are also available if you need more specific instruction one-on-one to discuss the finer details of your guitar playing. Sign up today at CreativeGuitarStudio.com. I've got 25 years experience teaching guitar and have written a well-organized step-by-step guitar course. Head over to my website at CreativeGuitarStudio.com and sign up for a free membership today. Join the thousands of members worldwide who have already enrolled. There's no need to try learning the guitar on your own. Let me help you become the best guitar player that you can be.